His morning crew here on his radio, Rob, Allison, and Jim. And the Benham brothers joining us this morning, particularly from David and Jason, is the strongest of the two. That would be Jason.
That's exactly right. Yes, and I am the strongest one.
Yeah, I've noticed because for somebody to hang out with a guy like Chuck Norris, I think that you would be kind of the cool guy.
Well, I thought when we met Chuck Norris, I was going to have to put him in a headlock, but he made sure that he just did as I told him to do, and so we didn't have to go and scuffle.
What in the world was that like, meeting Chuck Norris?
Oh, are you kidding? He's not Chuck Norris. He's Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's right, man.
I got an opportunity to hang out with him and his wife, and he said, hey, guys, let's get a picture together. And so we did. And I said, we're not into normal pictures. Let's take a crazy selfie. And his wife was like, that's the funnest thing ever. Let's do it. So I think he actually tweeted it out, too, which was humbling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Chuck Norris tweeting out about you guys, which is really cool. What about growing up as twins? Because, from what I understand, if you put on the boxing gloves, you're the one that's knocking out your brother, David.
And you know what? That's actually a true story. Now, I know that there's a picture. I forget where I've got it, but it's a picture of us fighting when we were 12, but when we were 15, we went out in the backyard and boxed each other, and he came in and he got really mad and lost control, and he was going to try to throw a right haymaker at me, and I sat back and just threw a little jab right at his chin and dropped him like a sack of potatoes.
Oh, my word.
It was awesome.
So what I'm trying to understand is you went from the rough and tough Jason, and now when it comes to mice in your toilet, it's your son that gets it out of the toilet and not you.
Man, where do you pull up all this stuff? Holy cow. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't deal with little furry animals.
But it's just a little tiny mouse.
I know, but still, it was in the toilet. And that fear that I guarantee everybody that's listening knows that fear when you sit on the toilet, you're like, oh, it would really be terrible if something jumped up out of that little hole and bit me. And sure enough, I see it there. And so that just confirmed my fears.
That would freak me out, too.
Good thing there wasn't an alligator in there, huh? That would have been horrible.
That's
so
right.
Here it is, years later. It's the Benham brothers. And I think it was about a year, not too long ago, that you're getting ready to launch this reality TV show on HGTV, Flip It Forward, which I think was going to be a phenomenal thing because you wanted to help people who couldn't really afford housing or to flip their own home.
That's exactly right. It was going to be awesome. We've got a background in real estate, and God allowed us to be really successful. And so HG found us and said, hey, guys, you guys are perfect for reality TV. And this was we started filming in the spring of 2014. They found us in the summer of 2013. So it was we had been with them for quite a long time.
Yeah, and then there was this stand in your faith, and then something happened there.
Well, what's interesting is that the HG knew who we were. No new information surfaced. And so by the time they made an announcement in the spring of 2014, when we were 5 weeks into filming, when they made an announcement that the Benham brothers were going to have a show, that's when some of the activist groups came out and said, hey, these brothers are right-wing, bigot, zealot, homophobic, women haters. And HG said, look, that's not who they are. We already know their stand. We know their beliefs. We know everything they've said. And so, of course, the groups put some real pressure on them to fire us. And when HG said they wouldn't, that's when an organization called Right Wing Watch created a brand new article about my brother and I, painting just the most dire picture ever. And they put pressure on HG, and HG said, guys, if this is what it's going to be like, having you guys as talent, we can't keep you.
It must have been so disappointing, but how did that strengthen your faith through all of this?
Well, it's just made the New Testament so real to us, is that, when people falsely accuse you and they persecute you, the interesting thing is the falsely accused, they couldn't accuse us of our ways. They accused us of our words, but then they took those words and completely wrapped a false narrative around it and made America think that David and I were extreme terrorists, essentially. And so we got that false accusation, but we got an opportunity to experience what that was like and what Jesus must have felt on some small level. And we realized, hey, you know what? When you go through it, it's not nearly as bad as the thought of going through it.
And you guys really believe that the Lord is looking for people willing to take a stand for their faith. How do you encourage other believers to unlock that courage?
Well, it starts with a personal relationship with Jesus and diving deep into his word every single day. I mean, the mornings for me involve getting up while it's still dark, getting on my knees outside, and Lord willing, like it was this morning, the stars were out, just amazing. And, you're out underneath the same stars that Jesus prayed under and having that real life relationship with him. And I'm telling you, that just, it's like if you have a candle and you're holding it and somebody comes and blows on it, it's going to blow the light out. But if you've got charcoals down that have been burning and simmering for a while, and somebody brings a blower to try to blow it out, it's only going to ignite the fire. So those charcoals, we need that deep in our belly.
You're going to be a Truth for a New Generation coming up this weekend in Spartanburg. What are some of the things you're going to be tackling there?
Well, they really want us to talk about our story, whatever the cost, and really encouraging people to be strong in their faith. That's kind of one of our marquee things that we talk about. We're just so excited that today we tell folks this is the greatest time ever to be alive. I mean, look at what's happening in the world right now. It's as if the world is on fire, but usually the night is darkest just before the dawn. And so, as opposed to looking for marshmallows and graham crackers, to gather around the fire and make s'mores, we're not going to do that as the church. We're going to tell people, hey, let's stand up. Let's be the men and women of Christ that God's called us to be. And boldness apart from brokenness makes a bully. So let's start with brokenness.
Dude, you need to pastor a church, man.
No,
You got it all in you. I love this. I love this. And another thing I like about you too is that you guys are into CrossFit. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, we turn 40 next month, and my wife is 6.5 years younger than me, so I'm just trying to keep up with her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I am.
That's pretty cool. How about your Fran time? I'm sorry, I got to geek out. How about your Fran time?
Well, I've got a 2:46 Fran time. How about you?
Oh, I'm just over 3. Just
Whoa.
over 3. So
Man,
I got to
that's
catch up to you, dude.
You're just over 3? That's pretty impressive. I thought a 60-year-old would definitely be over 5.
I know, right?
I like him. I like him.
Love it. His brother's not here, so he's got to tease somebody,
Got to
right,
tease
Rob?
some old guy here, huh?
That's right.
That's right.
Now, that is, I have to let your radio listeners know that is a very impressive Fran time, just over 3. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. And appreciate what you stand for, who you stand for, and everything that's about you and the Benham brothers. I think that's pretty awesome.
Well, likewise, we appreciate your station and what you guys stand for.